Hello, everyone. Today we are here with VirtualPBX Chief Product Officer, Lynn England, to answer some of your questions about virtual text.
Thank you, everyone, for submitting those amazing questions. We've got tons to go off of. So in order to get through all the questions that we received, we're going to go through the process of reviewing the SMS compliance, as well as VirtualPBX versions of SMS registration, and then digging into the demo, which should cover all the questions that we received prior to this Q&A, and then any additional questions that we may have will follow up when we send out the recording. So with that, we'll go ahead and get started.
Fantastic.
What is SMS compliance and who does it apply to? SMS compliance refers to the laws and guidelines that governs how businesses communicate with customers via text messaging. It ensures that businesses only send messages to individuals that have explicitly opted in to receive them. In the US, there are several organizations and laws that oversee SMS compliance, starting with the Federal Communication Commission that regulates media and phone communication in the US. They also set the wireless carrier regulations and enforce the rules. The Federal Trade Commissions handle consumer complaints and crack down on businesses that use text to scam consumers. To the Telephone Consumer Protection Act, which is a federal law that regulates how brands and businesses can contact consumer via phone calls or text messaging. The Cellular Telecommunication Industry Association is a group of wireless carriers that have come together within the US to create guidelines for SMS communications that are typically updated. These include the mobile network operators in the consumer industry. Lastly, the CAN-SPAM Act, which was passed in 2003, intended to a number of commercial-based text messages that could be sent to consumer personal mobile device. The compliance laws and guidelines outlined here essentially is all around written consent. If you are sending marketing-based message, you must have proof of written consent that are explicit, described in the SMS content. For a non-marketing based message, such as internal communications or emergency alerts, those do still require document written or verbal consent, as well as content matching. If you're going to send message to consumer, it needs to align with what that subscriber initially opted into. For someone's looking to get assistance with a product that they have purchased from your company, you can't send them marketing materials unless they've opted in to receive those as well. There needs to be clear opt-in and opt-out processes. As a brand or a company, you want to provide clear call to action, opt-in mechanism to confirm that there are opt-out when consumer have to opt out receiving those messages, to ensure that the protocol and compliance are being followed. Violations of these compliance laws and guidelines can be up to $1,500 per message per recipient, depending on the intent. Ultimately, you might ask, why does compliance matter? Aside from the fact that non-compliance can lead to hefty fines, legal issues, and damage to your brand reputations, but beyond avoiding penalties, compliance really is about respecting your customers' trust. By following these rules, you're ensuring that your messages are welcome, relevant, and effective to what the intended use case are. Now, while SMS compliance may seem complex, but it really comes down to transparency, consent, and respect. So adhering to these guidelines, you're not only protecting your business, but also creating meaningful, trusted connection with your audience. What is SMS registration? SMS registration is the process of applying and obtaining approval for your organizations to become a registered text message sender. This is a requirement for all businesses to send text messaging using a platform to consumers. This all started as part of the wireless service industry efforts to combat spam and improve the delivery of legitimate text messages. Businesses that want to send text message are required to register their business and phone number that they're using to send messages to consumers. SMS registrations applies to all companies, regardless of your business use case. So this includes things like marketing campaigns, appointment reminder, verification code, delivery update, as well as customer care. Any business that wants to engage customers through text messaging must register and comply with these regulations. The registration process is regulated by the campaign registry. The TCR leverages providers like VirtualPBX to collect registration information, things such as information about your business, contact information, and intended use case to make a determination if you're approved to text customers. As part of VirtualPBX SMS registrations, we do have a text product specialist at hand to help walk you through collecting these informations and updating the details to ensure that you are within compliant and can get approval. Some core details that we'll need from your business is really your company name and business documents. So things like what type of business it is, whether it's a solo entrepreneur or it's a private company, which case we'll need your EIN and your SS4 certificate, which is the tax documentation that the IRS gives you when you register your business. Your primary contact detail. For a private company, this would be details such as your support email and phone number that's typically listed on your website. If you're a different type of business, it may be your personal detail, especially for entrepreneur. Your intended SMS use case. How do you intend to text these customers? Is it for product engagement, marketing promotions? Is it to update on their order or customer care? Next, we'll want to know details such as how do you intend to collect opt-in and opt-out details. Is this obtained using a web form where consumer can consent using a checkbox? Is it obtained via keyword where you initially text the consumer and ask for consent, where they need to reply with a keyword such as join to continue receiving messaging? So that will vary depending on the type of use case. Then we want to know a few sample messages. If you've texted consumers before, you can simply just copy and paste some of your previous interactions in the sample messages. If you haven't texted consumers before, simply think of what your use case would be, whether it's customer care, so what are some of the response that you might reply to a customer on, or if it's promotion of a new product, is it offering a discount? So those sample messages would be relevant depending on your specific use case. Ultimately, the purpose of this is to prove that you've gained consent via legitimate means to contact consumer. You'll want to make sure, depending on your type of business, to provide additional details such as your business private policy and term of service if you have it relating to text messaging. Once you've completed these informations, we do also have a checklist that we can provide to ensure that you have updated all the necessary details before we submit the registrations. And then lastly, once your business have completed registration process and it's been approved, our product specialist will set you up with VirtualText and you're ready to communicate with your customer. Whether you're looking to streamline team communications or improve customer interaction, VirtualText, our latest product offering, offers a user-friendly interface and powerful features that will cater to your company needs. Join us as we explore how VirtualText can transform the way you connect, collaborate, and communicate. Today, we'll be reviewing product features, starting with the core features, and then going into the more advanced feature based off of the 3 plans that we've now released for VirtualText. So with that, let's get into the product. So here is the UI where you would log in to our VirtualText account. Now we offer 3 different plans associated to VirtualText, starting with our Spark plan, going up to Engage, and then to Amplify. The core features within VirtualText, such as contact management, number switcher, conversations, management, canned response, keywords, and away messages, as well as group messagings, are part of the core features and is included in all of our plans. If you're looking for more advanced features, which we'll cover in a moment, those will be in the Engage and Amplify plan. So if we review here under contacts, you have the ability to add individual contact, to send message, delete, update their details, manage their opt-in, so their consent. You also have the ability to upload bulk contact lists and then assign it into each of those groups. If you choose to do that, there is an option to download a template CSV file within here where you can allocate and assign the list before importing. Importing a contact list is also crucial, especially if you're looking to do things like merge field, which we'll cover in a moment. So here we're looking at canned response. Canned response are used for common replies related to things that are, like open hours, support, documentations, things that are easily accessible, that are repeatable, and it's easier to create a templates for those than to text in those messages every time. Under canned response, you have the ability to kind of rename it, whether it's related to leads, support, or specific product that you're working on. You also have ability to assign a keyword. So instead of having a team member apply a template or canned response in the message, you can publish on your website, just reply with sales to get more information. And if a customer send that message, they'll get the response in the body of the message. This is where you can also assign these type of messages as away message, where if your business is closed, you want to set it as away and customer can still engage and receive messages from you automatically if you assign those as an away message. Here you can also attach a file, whether it is additional instructions on how to handle a product, how to start a new process. Everything's associated here, or including a picture messaging, depending on the intended use for that canned response. And as we discussed a little bit earlier, merge fields, if you have these contact lists that's been uploaded, you can apply a merge field to a message body. And when the message gets sent to a customer, it will also identify their name or key features that you've designated in the merge field here, which might be unique to the customer, and it makes it more customizable for that interactions. Separate from the canned response, the number switch features here is the ability for, let's say you have multiple users in the account, they have different numbers specifically for sales, service, or support. Being able to toggle between those numbers and handle the use of those interactions is crucial. And then getting into the core of the product, which is display in the conversation view. In the conversation view, you have lots of robust features within here, from starting a new conversation where you can either add one specific contact or add multiple, which then will create a group conversation. And within the group conversations, you can also have the ability to name the group. Let's say a new group, and that'll generate as a test group. If you choose not to name the group, it will show up as if the name of the saved contact instead of the name that you designated for the group. Once you've done this, in the conversation panel, there's a lot of things that you can definitely apply here. You can add emoji to kind of make the message more friendly. You can add the canned response that we just reviewed over here. You can also attach a file and add a custom signature if there are multiple users to ensure that it's sending from the correct user. Now, if we look at an existing conversation, you can see the history of that conversation with that specific user. And within this view here, you do also have ability to add a note to signal to other team members that might be working in the case as well, to update them or to just recognize where you're at in that customer journey. If you've read a message that shouldn't have gone to you, should have gone to a different team member, you do have the ability to also mark a message as unread so that someone else can interact and take care of the message at a later time. You also can, as needed, review the message history by doing a quick search and expanding on those dates to be able to pull up to 500 message within that individual conversation view. Here, you can also archive messages that are no longer relevant in the conversation so that declutter the view as the team's working within it. You do have the ability to delete the history as well, or block the sender if it becomes more vicious in nature. Now that we've covered some of the core features, let's dig into some of more advanced features that's included in our Amplify and Engage plans, such as trip campaigns. Trip campaigns are segments, strips that you can apply to a series of messages, and you can designate different intervals. As you can see here, there are different series that I've applied across the board. It can be used as a new onboarding, post sales. It can be used as a customer appreciation or a welcome series. Simply, if you look within the campaign, you can preset the intervals. Do you want to send it out by the hour, by a series of hours, by days, or even by minutes? Drip campaign is specifically useful for new customer engagements or customer loyalty campaigns. To create a new campaigns, you simply just name the campaign, preset the merge field as we've reviewed, and then just add how many segments within the series you would like to include. You can add as many as you like. We typically recommend about 5 maximum in a series, just to ensure that there's not too many communication to a customer if they haven't responded. And the nice thing about the series is you can designate it so if there is a response to the message series, it discontinue future messages because you're continuing that dialogue separately. Send one message to a large group of individual blasts would be a great feature for that. Within blasts, you have the ability to leverage our scheduling feature, where you can schedule a blast to send out at a future date and apply it to a group of individuals. You can also create it as a draft to plan ahead for a later date. Blast is pretty simple to create. Simply name the blast, set the status, whether you want it to be just save as a draft to send now or schedule at a later date. And then the message segments is similar to what we've just reviewed in the conversations, as well as the drip campaign. Here you can apply it to groups of users. So you can also apply it to, let's say you have a list of customers that aren't identified. You can go through and choose anyone that you would like to assign to that blast, whether it's all your customers or just a few, and segment on an individual basis. Thirdly, the reminder feature is a great feature that businesses often use to schedule a message in the future that's unrelated to a drip campaign or a blast. So you can do this on 1-to-1 ratio, where you may need to send a message at a future date wishing a customer happy birthday, or their 1-year anniversary. It's a great way to set those and forget and let it does the work for you at a later date. To create those, simply just choose a contact or phone number, designate the time zone that you're in, so that knows when to send the message. Keep in mind of any compliance that you may need to adhere to around text messaging consumers. And then you can start with any canned response that you've pre-built, or if none of them works, you can also pre-build your own separately from here. And then once the message has been scheduled, it will display here as a scheduled message until it has been delivered to the recipient. Now, if you're looking to do more than just 1-to-1 scheduling, you can also import in using the sample download, and then place your messaging and then upload it back up. And that'll also keep track of all your scheduled group or bulk messaging. Now, those are some of the main advanced features that we have. We also have integrations with some of the CRMs and tools that are available, such as HubSpot, Pipedrive, Slack, MS Team, and Google Chat. For other CRM systems that may not be readily available, we do offer Webhook Relay, where you can connect to other applications. Addition to that, this is a pretty cool feature where you can manage your own account and manage your messaging setting. As I mentioned before, the away message here, typically it's preset to 24 hours of unavailable, but you can designate it for less time. If, let's say, you're going to lunch and you want to any customer that may message during that time to know that you're away for a short period of time and they can reach back shortly. You can also enable your message signature from here, and then designate whether it's your business name or whatever you would like for your customer to see. Now, the unique feature of here, if you look under statistic, this is where you can see how many contacts are within each of your accounts. So you have multiple share number. This is just looking at one account, and then it separates by each of those. So you'll be able to identify what your statistic looks like within your messaging account and make determination from there. Now, we just released these features as of this month. So go ahead and check us out at VirtualText.com, where you can choose between our 3 plans: Spark, Engage, and Amplify, depending on your needs.
Thank you so much, Lynn, and thanks to our attendees today as well. If you have any further questions, you can contact us anytime. Give us a call or a text message at 888-825-0800, or chat with us on VirtualPBX.com.
And as always, we're always happy to do additional series on many of our other products. So let us know if you're interested in learning more.
Absolutely. And for today's attendees as well, we'll make sure to follow up. We'll send a recording of today's presentation to your email address, as well as our handy SMS registration checklist. Thank you again for attending, and thank you to Lynn.
Have a great day, everyone.